You and I are about to watch real unscripted footage captured directly from cheaters' surveillance cameras. It documents the deep heartache caused when a partner strays. This show honors loyal partners while confronting the deceitful, hoping to inspire a change of heart toward honesty and virtue. In this dramatic episode, utter chaos breaks out on camera. Shouts echo as the victim demands to know who the other woman is, while the cheater pleads. He begs to just talk it out. This raw reality television is brought to you by the Cheaters Private Investigators. Only on Cheaters. Host Peter Pankey steps up to greet the nation, serving up another unbelievable episode of Cheaters. We are introduced to Nikki Parsons, a loving fiancée who fears her future husband is pulling away. Anxious about the truth, Nikki asked the Cheaters team to handle this painful investigation. Nikki recalled how thrilling it was when Jake proposed 6 months after they moved in. It happened at her family's Thanksgiving dinner, a massive secret that everyone in the room knew except her. Right as they snapped the holiday wishbone together, Jake suddenly shocked her by dropping to one knee. He asked for her hand right there. He popped the question in front of her relatives, having already asked her father for permission, which touched her deeply. She notes that planning a wedding brings pressure, but the tension escalated once she realized something. She felt completely alone in the process, even though he was the one who asked her to marry him. They used to be a united front against the world, but lately, Nikki has no idea what Jake really wants. Whenever she tries to discuss the wedding details, he dismisses her with total indifference, or just completely brushes it off. She understands grooms might not obsess over tie colors, but she feels he should show some level of care about their big day. Now let's take a look at 27-year-old influencer Jake Vitolo, suspected of entertaining other women. Armed with the suspect's routine, the Cheaters agents quickly establish a covert perimeter around the shared apartment complex to start surveillance. A few hours into the stakeout, the private investigators finally spot Jake entering the building's parking garage. The suspect jumps in his vehicle and speeds off. After a short tail, he pulls up to a salon that pours drinks. That really gives a brand new meaning to the phrase, beauty bar. Apparently needing a trim, Jake heads inside to get properly buzzed. Nikki revealed that the very first red flag waving in her face happened when Jake claimed he was out skateboarding one evening. She called to check his location, and he insisted he was just hanging out with his buddies. He claimed they were practicing, yet his skateboard was sitting right at home. The moment he walked through the door, a massive argument erupted between the two. She questioned how he could possibly skate without his board. Plus, she noticed him getting weekly haircuts. She found this grooming obsession highly suspicious, mainly because Jake is absolutely not a werewolf. Whenever she confronted him, he would become extremely defensive and hostile, which felt entirely out of character. Throughout their entire relationship, she had never once seen him lose his temper or raise his voice before. Back on surveillance, you and I watched the suspect emerge cheerfully with a mystery woman right by his side. The cozy pair strolls hand in hand toward Jake's car. Their brief hangout wraps up as the two share a deeply intimate and lingering embrace, before finally saying their romantic goodbyes. Let's look closely. With serious questions lingering, operatives wrap up the day. It would completely crush me if Jake wasn't who I thought he was. Agents spot suspect Vitolo stepping out, busy tapping on his phone. With his social feed updated, the suspect leaves the area. Just a few miles away, Vitolo pulls into a neighborhood tavern. He spots his female friend from earlier surveillance waiting for him. Our private eyes follow the pair inside to document their moves. Sitting right by the bar, the suspect's companion, now identified as Giselle Marx, makes eyes at him while they chat and drink. A few rounds later, the twosome head out to their cars. The lovebirds share a tight, lingering hug before taking off. Suspect Vitolo hurries back to his house, heading upstairs to a lovelorn Nikki. After hours of dead air, our field agents watch Vitolo march to his truck and speed away fast. Investigators tail the target down a very familiar road, arriving back at that same hair salon. The suspect eventually, and his companion, step out walking hand in hand to a restaurant. Dinner finished and masks down, the cheating duo stroll cheek to cheek back to Vitolo's car. These star-crossed lovers managed to make some mischief right under an old oak tree. After a long, loving goodbye, Vitolo jumps in his car while Marx marches back into work. We've seen enough, haven't we? Armed with solid proof of Vitolo's cheating, detectives head back to headquarters. Right after the break, the confrontation. With Jake's betrayal fully confirmed, our host brings Nikki in to deliver the truth, fighting back the tears. Nikki braces for the painful, ugly reality. Hey, Nikki, how are you holding up? I'm okay. I really hope you brought some good news for me. Well, we got some surveillance footage back. A few things came up today during our investigation. You recognize the spot we're parked at, right? Yeah? Okay, so he comes out, seems totally normal. Then he just drives off. Naturally, our cameras follow him. We spot him outside a salon. Are you familiar with this salon? Oh yeah, that's the place he said he gets his haircuts now. So yes, I definitely know it. I remember him mentioning they serve alcohol. Well, he comes out, meets up with this young lady, and they're holding hands. Any idea who this woman might be? No, I have absolutely no clue who she is. I really want to know her name. Later in the day, right outside your own house. He steps out, we tail him again, and he hits a bar. Here's where things get messy for him. They walk inside the bar, sharing some drinks. Looks like she's laughing hard, getting a bit touchy-feely. Not saying anything, but a phone call suddenly comes through that you might remember. Hey, I was just wondering where you were at. Watching football with Brandon. Oh, okay. I didn't even know you guys had plans today. She asked him over the phone about making lasagna, wondering when he'd be home. He played it off, claiming fantasy football had just kicked off, so they might stay out and watch the night game. He promised to text. She pointed out that making his favorite lasagna would take a while anyway, so it was perfectly fine. She playfully told him to bring home cash. She told him to win that fantasy football money. They exchanged sweet words. She distinctly remembered that call later, noting how she had stayed at work for overtime and hit the store just to make his favorite dinner. But here is where you and I see the story get sticky. He claimed he was watching the game with a buddy. But looking at the evidence, he was playing a very different kind of game. Her worst fears were confirmed. The investigator asked about their relationship, noting they had been engaged for almost a full year now. 11 months, she confirmed. He then asked how the wedding planning was going. She admitted she had been working late nights while planning the entire wedding, entirely by herself. Some guys might claim they have a bucket list of wild fantasies to try, like a threesome, or maybe bringing another woman into the bedroom. But in her eyes, there was absolutely no way to justify his terrible actions. Going out and lying to her face was unforgivable. She felt he should have just communicated, rather than sneaking around behind her back, kissing another woman during a global pandemic, and then coming home to sleep in her bed. A cheating dog only cares about his bone. He knew exactly where the cheaters were. They were together right that second. She demanded to be taken to them immediately, and the crew was ready to hit the road. The van pulled up. He advised her to get answers, avoiding a massive screaming match. He stressed getting the truth first. That was the whole point of the confrontation. Sometimes folks run in throwing punches and screaming, and they completely fail to get to the actual truth. He told her to demand answers. She had to go in with a mission and get answers. The tension peaked as she stepped out. You and I are about to watch absolute chaos unfold. She stormed in, demanding to know what the hell was happening. Reminding herself to stay calm, she confronted him, asking exactly who this supposed business friend was and what kind of business they were doing. Jake panicked and ordered her to calm down. He demanded she calm down, asking who all those people were. She ordered him over right that second. The host stepped in, introducing himself as Peter from the show Cheaters. He sarcastically tried to explain the situation, asking if Jake had been busy. She fired back that the mistress was busy and so was he. Peter explained she hired them to expose his infidelity. She was so disgusted she screamed to get him away from her sight entirely. Then she demanded to see her. The two women finally faced off. The girlfriend proudly announced that she was the true fiancée with the engagement ring on her finger. She taunted the mistress, asking exactly where her ring was. Pointing to the jewelry she claimed her man, Jake shot back, complaining that all she did was plan the wedding. He claimed she was never truly around anymore. She sarcastically mocked his complaints, demanding that the mistress step outside. The mistress refused to go anywhere. Jake pleaded to talk. The girlfriend laughed that he disrespected the mistress too, then sharply asked if she knew he was engaged. The mistress coldly snapped back that she knew nothing about the fiancé, but more importantly, she absolutely did not care about her now. She told her to back off. What do we make of this? He actually apologized for hitting her chest, frantically admitting he was completely in the wrong. You and I are watching pure chaos. Nobody knew about his fiancée or his kid until the host stepped right in to talk. She demanded they get the camera out of her face, storming right off. Stick around for the shocking conclusion. She completely lost it, demanding to know who the other woman was while he desperately claimed it was just a business friend. Through her tears, she cried that she felt like he was never really around anymore. He promised her they could talk through this. She told him to go explain that to her ring on the ground. He freaked out over the $10,000 ring she tossed into the dark. Absolute pure chaos. He acted like women just grew on trees. This was completely typical. The host gently suggested that she really shouldn't be mad at the other woman. They were planning a wedding. How was she supposed to handle this betrayal? He cursed, scrambling to find the lost ring. She was absolutely ready to fight, even though she knew it wasn't completely the other woman's fault. Suddenly, a stranger handed something over. Jake thanked the random stranger profusely for locating the lost diamond. She sneered in disgust, telling him to keep the ring. She was dead serious, violently ordering Jake not to touch her at all. She stumbled over her words, realizing she needed to confront him about everything. He begged her to take it, but she had one final brutal thing to say. The situation escalated incredibly fast. She screamed that he deserved it, insisting she didn't need either of them. She smirked, hoping this drama was making for good television. He frantically called after Nikki, while the other woman commanded him to leave. The host suggested couples counseling, asking if they could try to figure things out. Let's look closely at this. He was probably just trying to work the system. Pure shocking betrayal. A bystander chimed in, saying she should sell the $10,000 ring instead of throwing it away, even if the relationship was completely over. Where was he? He realized he made a huge mistake. She demanded he back away immediately. She screamed for him to leave. He figured he messed up, since she was acting a little off lately. They firmly told him to leave. Boom! A friend admitted they were in no position to judge the man's horrible actions. They had done 50 times worse themselves, but they still really needed to locate Jake. She yelled that therapy was for those excuses. Right now, she just wanted the old Jake. The Jake she loved wasn't standing in a comedy club tonight with some other woman. She dared him to try. A bystander insisted she should absolutely never give that engagement ring back. A witness brought up their sister, insisting she just keep the ring. A bystander joked about pawning the ring to pocket the easy cash. What do we make of this? She confessed her love, then cursed Jake forever. Nikki demanded to know where Jake was going. She screamed at him to get out of there. She questioned his actions, sobbing that she thought he actually loved her. Jake's car. Nikki hurled insults, repeatedly ordering him to get as far away as possible. She cursed Jake's name in pure agony. Jake admitted he always hated the idea of therapy-doubting professionals could actually help him. He wondered why he was even paying them. But in hindsight, the sessions worked wonders. He never believed he could still stand here. The other woman hurried off the scene. She was completely gone from his life. Jake likely wanted to explain the situation. Instead, the excuses he gave were absolute, complete nonsense. Near Larkybird Station, the Blue Line train reached its final stop. You and I are watching the results unfold. Sadly, these are not the answers anyone wanted. They certainly were not what Nikki hoped for, but reality rarely is. Still, knowing the painful truth is always better than living a complete lie forever. The team wished Nikki the absolute best. She confessed she had desperately hoped the investigation was entirely wrong. Jake then pleaded, claiming that once the heavy television cameras were finally gone, they could definitely sit down and figure out a way to fix their broken relationship. He asked if she still wanted that, swearing he was ready to put in the real work. Nikki simply needed him to genuinely care. She had already planned their entire wedding. She desperately wanted him back, reminding Jake they still had the engagement ring to continue their plans. She demanded to know about the other woman. Jake dismissed it, claiming those details were unimportant. To Nikki it mattered. Jake insisted only their future together mattered. He told her to come closer. He promised they could salvage things, while she tearfully asked why he betrayed her trust. The crew reminded Nikki about the provided counseling sessions, hoping Jake would also accept the offer. Jake agreed it was a smart idea. The investigation team wished them well and prepared to leave the chaotic scene. They offered Nikki their final sympathies. They told Jake to take care. He thanked the crew as the team finally packed up and cleared out of the area. Let's watch Nikki grapple with her heartbreaking new reality together. Stay tuned as Cheaters reveals her upcoming future plans. For now, the show visits Natalie, a former companion, who arrived to share her own wild experience with the cheating investigation. Natalie recalled having a perfectly romantic evening with John. He cooked a wonderful dinner, they drank wine, and the stars were shining brightly. To her, the entire night felt absolutely incredible. Then, pure terror set in. A sudden group of strangers came charging right towards them, out of nowhere. Blinding television camera lights flashed everywhere as she desperately called out to John in total panic. She completely failed to grasp what was happening. Confused and stunned, she honestly assumed it was just a massive prank. She wondered what was happening until the harsh reality finally sank in. John was actually a married man. What do you and I make of this madness? She had absolutely no idea. She stormed in, shouting, "What the hell is this? What the hell is this? What is your problem?" She pointed at the girl. "Who is she?" John stammered back. "She is just the one I'm training." She glared at him. "What the fuck is all this?"
"John, is this how you train?"
She snapped. He tried to claim it was just a work thing. "Yeah, that's my trainee," John insisted. "We are just sitting here," she scoffed.
"Just sitting there. Our romantic candle's right there."
Let's unpack the aftermath. Following the confrontation, she was reeling. She felt relief, yet deep anger. Mostly, she was just incredibly hurt by the ultimate betrayal. The fact that John had hidden the truth stung. She admitted she sprinted away as fast as possible, desperate to just escape the chaotic scene. Sitting alone in her car, she was completely stunned that he didn't even try to chase her. But still, she simply had to get out of that room. The whole situation was just way too insane. Looking back, she's glad she left. It took a long time before she was even willing to have a conversation with him again. John kept trying to email and contact her over and over, begging for another chance. She asked to be reassigned to a different trainer and moved to another department entirely. Things were incredibly awkward at the office for a while. Finally, she agreed to talk. But then she exploded, yelling, "You hired this bitch? You son of a bitch." John panicked. "Natalie, please, do not look." John pleaded, claiming he never got a chance to tell her the truth, and desperately apologized. "Liar." She coldly told Natalie they were a perfect match now. "John got anything else to say?" They met up and John explained why he lied about everything happening in his life. He kept swearing his feelings for her were totally real. She believed him. They spent the next 3 months, really, working through everything together. She let her guard down and trusted him again. She truly believed that he was a good man with a genuine heart. And against all odds, they actually got engaged.
She flashed her ring excitedly, announcing they were engaged and officially getting married.
For her, it felt like the perfect fairy tale ending she had always wanted.
Let's step into their couples counseling, provided by cheaters. Nikki thought they were hitting a breakthrough, but unfortunately, everything fell apart just days before their wedding. Nikki claims Jake just refuses to grow up. She simply cannot devote her entire life to someone so selfish.
For his part,
Jake Vitolo sees the situation quite differently. He insists Nikki had him entirely tied up with constant counseling and wedding planning. He declared, "Nobody has time for that." Even though Jake tried his absolute hardest to become a successful internet influencer, that venture completely failed. Giselle Marx remained completely unavailable for comment. Remember, cheating is a crime. We both know if you skip your programming from Goldstein's, we will both lose money.